Now, Aimpoint, if you're not aware, has a pretty legendary track record when it comes to red dots. They're kind of the premier military-focused brand, if that makes sense. The Aimpoint T2 and its predecessor, the T1, are probably the most prolific red dots out there. And then just behind those, you have the Comp M4, and what we have here, the Comp M5. Now, getting into basics, fortunately, the Comp M5 does share the same footprint as the T1, T2, which means that you can find almost an infinite amount of different heights and types of mounts for the optic. It is slightly bigger, and I do mean slightly bigger. I believe the window is something like 2 millimeters larger, which might help some people. It might be a slight boost if you like a little bit larger windows. The main difference is going to be the battery. This is a single AAA battery and a rotary dial on the side for adjusting your illumination rather than a 2032. In terms of size and weight, while again it is similar to the T2, it does have that big battery tray tumor hanging off the side. Weight comes in at about 5 ounces, not including the mount. In terms of controls, we have exposed windage and elevation, though they are protected and recessed into the protective turret so they shouldn't accidentally get bumped, and you can adjust them with just about anything you can find. In terms of our illumination controls, we simply have a rotary dial at the back of the optic. You very nicely have 4 night vision settings, which is more than most optics will provide, and then you have 6 daylight settings. Now, what that means is that with the very good glass, which we'll get into, means that this is one of the top tier night vision optics on the market. If not the pinnacle, probably still the EOTechs are going to take that crown, but it's very good and gives you enough brightness settings for most environments for your passive aiming nerds out there. In terms of its daylight settings, you have 6, which is lower than most optics, but realistically, you're only going to need 2 or 3 to begin with. I've heard some people claim that the Aimpoint Comp M5 doesn't get bright enough for them, and maybe that is an issue with certain models if they had some sort of quality control issues or illumination issues, something like that. For me personally, in direct sunlight where I live, at the max setting, it is more than bright enough, and so I usually have it set 1 below max, though I could see maybe if you're out in the desert of Utah or in some really rocky, bright, reflective environments where you might want a little bit of extra illumination, which again on the T2, you never have that problem. But before we get to the other major problem of the optic, it does come with flip-up caps, which is nice for a $1,000 optic. In terms of glass quality, clarity, light transmission, it's all very, very good. There's very little warp, there's very little magnification, there's very little color shift.